what do we learn to conjugate? The verb ser, right? Right? So we know the forms are soy, eres, es, somos, sois, and so on, right? So we learned how to conjugate those. We know that. Correct? Hopefully. So we took this infinitive and conjugated it. So what's an infinitive? An infinitive is an unconjugated verb, which means there's no subject. Right? Like ser. Does that have a subject? I, you, he, she. Does this word have a subject? Nope. So it's an infinitive. On your list, the word bailar, to dance, no subject. Buscar, to look for, no subject. Caminar, to walk, no subject. Those are called infinitives. So it doesn't say who's doing anything. So what we're going to do is we're going to learn how to conjugate the verb. What does conjugate mean? What's maybe an explanation? Well, we give the verb a subject. A subject is like I, you, he, she, we, they. Could be just a regular noun. The dog, the cat, the class. And then what do? We change the verb. So when we learned how to conjugate ser, we gave it the subject of yo, right? Yo. What do we do with ser? We change it to soy. When we had two, we changed ser to what? Eres. Elea, we changed it to es. So we took an infinitive, we gave it a subject, and then we changed the verb. That's called conjugation. Okay? Conjugation. So, what does it have to do with AR verbs that we have on our list? Well, we're going to learn how to conjugate these AR verbs. So when we conjugate, we change the verb. We're going to give it a subject. So if our subject is yo, which means I, right, our verb ending is going to be an O. Right? So I'm going to give you the endings, then we're going to actually put it into practice. If our subject is to, that means you, we're going to use the ending as. If our subject is el, or ella, or usted, our ending's going to be ah. Have we used any of these endings before?
Yeah.
Yo me llamo. ¿Cómo te llamas? Se llama. Did you know that though? No. So you used it, you just didn't know. Other things that are third person. Remember, if we have a name, that's third person. Bob, Sue, Bobby, Susie, Pepa, Pepe. Or if we have a singular noun, that is also third person. The dog, the cat, the student, the teacher, the school, the class. Those are singular nouns. So, o, as, a. First person plural. If our subject is nosotros or nosotras or anything yo, my friend and I, mi amigo yo, tú y yo, usted y yo, we use the verb ending of amos. Amos. Vosotros, you plural if you're in Spain. Our ending is ice. It's one of those diphthongs, two vowels in a row. Ice. Ice. Pronounce it like the word ICE in English. Ice. Ice. Here we have ellos, ellas, ustedes. The verb ending is on. On. Also, to help clarify, if we have a bunch of names, that's third person plural, or a plural noun, we also use that on ending. Okay? So how do we use that with the list of verbs? How do we use it with the list of verbs? Somebody give me a verb from that list. What's wrong? Practice. So the infinitive is what?
Wait, does that one say noun or name?
This
No.
is names, this is noun.
No, that other one.
Name, noun. Okay. So practicar. Practicar. That means to practice, right? It's a cognate. So when we conjugate a verb, an AR verb, what we do is we take off the AR and we just have the stem. Just gonna write that up there. So pratique. We take our stem. So the stem of practicar is pratique. So I want you to write pratique in each of these boxes right here. Pratique. But leave room to the right because we're going to add a letter or two to the right. So our stem is pratique. Now this is different than we did with ser. Ser is an irregular verb, which means it doesn't follow a pattern. The AR verbs that we have in our vocab list are on page 51 in our V-text. These are regular verbs, so they follow a pattern. So I want to say I practice. I practice. What ending do I use for I practice? O, as, a, amos, ais, or an. Oh. So there's our new word. Practico. What does it mean? I practice. The to form. Practicas. Third person is practica. What do you say? We practice. What do we add? Amos. Practicamos. What do we add here? Practicais. Right. Ice. We add ice. And third person is practican. Notice we use the same subjects. Yo, tu, ela, usted, eos, ustedes, etc. that we used with ser. The same subjects. The same ones. Let's do the verb tomar. Tomar means to take. Tomar means to take. What's the stem of tomar? The stem is the verb minus the AR, so what's our stem? TOM, right? So here's our stem, TOM. I'm going to add that verb ending right away, which is O. What does tomo mean? I take. What's the second person? Tomas. It means you take. Third person. Toma. He or she takes. Tomamos means we take. So tomo, tomas, toma, tomamos, tomais, and toman. See? So in theory, could you conjugate all of those verbs in I, J, K and those two in letter L now?
Yeah.
Yep, because all you have to do is take off the AR and add O, asa, amos, aisan. The kicker is trying to figure out what they all mean. And we'll get to that. You okay, Jack?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll make sure you don't hurt yourself. All right, so with this, before we do one more verb, we're going to conjugate one more. Subject pronouns. Why did I put yo in parentheses? Do I need the yo there? Nope. Because our ending is O, our only subject can be yo. Here, I could say tu. I could put tu Tomas or just say Tomas. Because our only ending, our only subject, if our ending is as, is tu. The amos tells us that it's a we subject, either nosotros or nosotras. So do we have to put it? Nope. The ice ending tells us that it's either vosotros or vosotras. So do we have to use it? Nope. But these third person, how many subjects are possible for this third person? El, ella, usted. Infinity, right? So when we use a verb in third person, we typically have the subject pronoun. Why do we have it? For clarification. So just to be clear, so that's why we have a subject, sometimes in third person, for clarification, right? We had talked about that already with ser. We could say soy or yo soy, eres or tú eres, okay? One last verb. Let's do estudiar. Estudiar means to study. What's the stem of estudiar? Estudi. Yeah, estudi, because we take off the AR. Okay, so what I want you to do is, on your own, make a chart and conjugate estudiar. There's the stem, right? I want you to conjugate this verb. Okay, we're going to give it a subject, put some different endings on there. Okay, go ahead. Right, so we have a studi, that's our stem. The yo form is estudio. The to form, estudias. Third person, estudia. First person plural, we study. Estudiamos. This last one, estudiáis and estudiam. Okay? So this one word in Spanish, this word estudio, can actually express three things in the present tense. What do I mean by the present tense? What's happening right now? Not past, not future, but present. So estudio can express I study. Like if I ask, what do you do? I study. Okay? Pretty simple. I study. It can also express I am studying. If I ask, what are you doing? Sometimes I ask this of my daughter when she's on her phone. And she says, Dad, I'm studying. Well, she's on her phone. This is what she's doing right now. I'm studying. Okay? Or I look at a quiz, I hand it back to you, and I'm like, whoa, you got 2 out of 20. What are you doing? Or do you study? And you say, I do study. That's called the emphatic present tense. We have the simple, the present progressive, and the emphatic. So all these concepts work with all these verbs. So estudiamos, what can estudiamos really mean? We study. We am studying, or what helping verb would we use? We are studying. We do study. So all these single words can actually mean more than one thing in English. Okay? Good? Okay, so some takeaways. Don't forget these verb endings, o, as, a, amos, ais, an. In order to conjugate, we take off the AR, and we take our stem and add o, as, a, amos, ais, an. How do we know whether to use o, as, a, amos, ais, or an?
Subject.
Yes. We look at the subject to figure out whether we use o, as, a, amos, ais, or an. Awesome.